The Goner Records Podcast. Goner Records Podcast. The Goner Records Podcast. The Goner Records Podcast. Welcome to another edition of the Goner Records Podcast. Today we're doing a little time traveling back to 2023. Right now it's the middle of August 2024, heavy into getting ready for Gonerfest 21 next month. And this conversation is with Joe Chamandy from the Th Retail SImps before last Gonerfest, Gonerfest 20, and we were talking in September 2023. So a bunch of this is about getting ready for that, bands we should have booked, stress things that were going on or not going on. And so I don't know why it's taken me so long to get this out, other than I just felt like I wanted to do it justice and just never felt like the right time. But enough's enough. This has to be out. I had screwed up the first recording with Joe, and so this is our second talk. Hopefully new and improved second version of the conversation. Who knows? Still working my way around these conversations. But Joe's a really fascinating guy. He runs the Celluloid Lunch record label and fanzine. Excellent fanzine. Kept the standard of music writing going. Really inspiring when you see people that are so talented that want to put their time and energy into things that no one really cares about. Retail SImps kind of taken a lot of people by storm, and excellent band that are playing at Gonerfest 21 at an after party. And his side project Feeling Figures, or other band Feeling Figures, have a record out on K or coming out on K. They are playing Gonerfest 21, so be sure to see that. Really happy to be able to talk to Joe. One of the things that came out on Celluloid Lunch was, it's kind of a side here, was The Slime, which was kind of a proto-punk rock Canadian band. Super kind of silly, kind of those bands that took off from the underground Zappa wackiness into some kind of hairy alternative reality. But never heard of them before. Joe was reissuing his record and got to go to the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas a little while ago. And in the midst of all the NoFX and other cool artifacts was a guitar from The Slime, which looked like some Tesco thing with a dildo on top, and really bizarre mutilated guitar. But I knew what it was. That was a highlight, actually, of the whole Punk Rock Museum. So go check it out. Pay too much. Overall, I thought actually the Punk Rock Museum was surprisingly cool. If you're into old flyers, some weird gear from bands you wouldn't expect. They've obviously got a lot of work to do, but I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, here is my conversation with Joe Chamandy from last year. Hope you enjoy.
There you go.
There it is. Oh my goodness. Nice. Now when everything falls apart, we have a record of it.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. I'm in better spirits than last time, I'd say.
Okay, good. I don't know if I am, but it doesn't matter. One of us.
Well, you're kind of. It must be getting busy over there, like at this point, close to the festival, kind of.
Yeah, this is really the crunch time.
Yeah.
It's weird because everybody, like the week before, is like, "You must be freaking out." I was like, "We're screwed now. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, exactly. It's like what's done is done.
Yeah. This is the point where if we don't get it done, it really doesn't happen, and you kind of just realize, oh fuck, everything we have to do. Yeah. But yeah, it's also when you get to do all the fun stuff and talk to the bands and put together the program guide and do all that stuff. It's an intense month of cranking stuff out.
Yeah.
And
Are you still adding bands, or I think you put out the final lineup?
yeah, we got, well, I don't know if we've announced it, but we had a band cancel. The Chisel was play, and they kept leading us on and then decided they weren't coming. They were supposed to go on tour with somebody pretty big, that Oasis sounding punk band. Anyway, they backed out, so we had a spot, and then we added the kids from Belgium because they had played Slovenly Fest, and
yeah, I saw that.
They got a year visa, and Pete was like, they got a year visa. They want to come back and play. So
there's a Montreal connection there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this guy Mathieu put out I think he was like the first one to put out that, like, the LP, like, reissue style.
Yeah.
Sonic Chicken Shrimp Records or something.
Okay. Yeah.
He has a cool shop here called Sonic.
Nice. Yeah, they're great. So I mean, it was a good ad. We're doing a King Louis tribute band with a bunch of people from New Orleans, hacking their way through some Louis songs for half an hour. Cool. And that should do it. And then all the after party madness and everything like that. We're trying to sort of figure out what's going on.
Do you have to, like, organize that, or?
No, we try not to, but then it's so tempting to try to get your hand in that, because there's so many good bands that can play, that you're like, well, if you guys would play over here, then you're not opposite this other good show. And I think this year it's just going to be total mayhem. I think it's just good 3 days of good shows opposite each other, which is fun too. It was sort of how it was last year.
I had a question, like, about last year that maybe, like, I don't know if it'll be like hitting a nerve you don't want to talk about or something, but I'll just shoot. It's like I noticed that, like, Tav Falco was playing Memphis like the week before or after the festival.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I don't know him. I'm friendly with him, and I've talked to him before.
Yeah.
And
because it seemed like something that would just, like, make sense to be a part of the fest or something.
Yeah, he didn't go out of his way to get on the fest, and he wasn't on our radar to ask, so we weren't aware of it until, everything was booked. He's such an odd thing to throw in there. He's great Memphis rock, but he's not really. I mean, what he does now is kind of,
it's more rockabilly trad or something.
No, it's kind of like a tango type of more, whatever kind of music that would be. It's very kind of formalized, and he's a total individual character and personality, and he could totally carry the show. If you put him as a headliner, he'd be fine. Some people wouldn't get it, and some people would love it.
Well, that's what was great about the Monkey Biters.
Oh yeah,
that was, like, so awesome.
Yeah, that was a dream. That wasn't even a dream. I never thought I'd get to see Fred Lane at all. And then the Brian from Manor Astroman has a club in in Birmingham, and he got a reunion show that we went down to see, and it was so good. And that we had already signed on to do the reissues at that point, but I still didn't think that they would have a band and make all that work. And then to put them in Gonerfest, it was amazing. Technically the board fell apart, the soundboard lost all the presets, and it was just a total nightmare on that side. But the band came literally from all over the United States to play that show. Like, somebody was
a great band.
Yeah, they were from Seattle and Portland and New England and the South, and
It was wild. I mean, those guys were really good, and
It was
they
just
they
so awesome. The crowd reaction too. It was kind of like professional room clearer vibe. Like it was amazing. They just kept playing and it was like, I was loving it.
that was what they were born to do. They
I know,
were,
totally.
it's the we're going to entertain ourselves on some concept, and either you get it or you don't, and it's all part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right, let's kind of roll into whatever we're doing. I guess we're already doing it. I'm talking to Sloppy Joe Chamandy. Is that your common nickname?
Yeah. I mean, not that many people call me that, but I like it. It's funny.
I like it.
It
Head
kind
on.
of came about because like this guy who had like consignment arts shop when I was like a teenager. I came in to bring some zines and then he was like, I had like French fries in a greasy bag next to the zines. And he's like, I think he like came up with that because he was like, that's unprofessional, man. You got to do something about that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mostly known for Celluloid Lunch label and Zine and the Retail SImps and a ton of other bands, I guess, over the years. Uh, Welcome to the Goner Records podcast, whatever edition this is. Yeah, thanks for doing it. What are the Retail SImps up to these days?
Well, we got this new record coming out. Rich is putting it out on Total Punk.
Oh yeah.
And so we're getting ready for that. Like we're gonna play 4 shows around the release date. And we're going to go up to Sudbury and play with Strange Tractor.
Nice.
Which is a great Canadian band.
Yeah.
One-man band transformed into live band that hasn't played in like, I think 10 years. So they're playing their first gig. I put out their record, the new one, Jeff's new one. And then he's got the band back together and they're going to play, and they invited us to come play with them.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's
It's
a great record. Is that he's in Tommy and the Commies as well, correct?
Yeah, Tommy and the Commies, and they used to have statues as well.
Gotcha.
And make futures. It like there are these 2 brothers, the Hool brothers, who are just like, they're kind of legendary in Canada. Everyone who's been to Sudbury, like, because it's kind of on the way if you're going across the country, you always end up staying with them and staying up past your bedtime, listening to records and having a drink.
Yeah, but you need the stops along the way. You need the people that make the bigger cities, doable. You got to stop in between. And for a long time, going up to Chicago or whatever, Bloomington and Normal, Illinois was a stop like that. And that's where the Hozak guys came out of, and a lot of great bands and fans. I mean, that just made all that stuff happen. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was living for a while in this college town called Sackville, and it's kind of like that too, where it just punches above its weight, even though it's a small town. There's just always stuff going on, and it just takes a few people, right? Like you need like 2-3 people who are really on top of it, and like those types of places, like it can go further because there's like less to weigh you down too.
For sure. Yeah,
Normal. How I feel about Sudbury. It's like it does not make sense that it's a cool place, fun place to go, but it is. It's really great.
Right. Yeah. But those places are magic. Like you said, it doesn't take much. Doesn't take just a few people to kind of convince everybody else that this stuff is fun.
Yeah, and they have 300 lakes, which is a lot of lakes.
Yeah, I think I'd find a way to drown myself in a lake, but so they'd never find me.
It's a hazard.
Yeah. I'd start on this lake. We got 299 to go. Yeah, I saw a video that maybe was leaked about the something about the Retail SImps. I'm not sure about the Stooges in the Retail SImps.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It was known as the peanut butter incident or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was
I had no comment on that. I don't know where that came from.
Rich has a lot of access to wild videos, and we'll have to go find that online and judge for yourself. But yeah, that's cool. So the record's coming out. You're doing a few shows, Canada only. You sneaking into the States at all?
We're just planning to do these shows in Canada for now, but we're open to whatever. Like, I mean, we're pretty desperate to play, and if people invite us, we usually oblige. So
Nice. Yeah, we were very excited that you made it down for Gonerfest last year, and
Oh, it
it
was
was,
such a dream. Yeah, we had such a good time. And
yeah.
just being in Memphis, and yeah.
We do have footage of that, and I will get it to you after we talk today. So
Oh, nice.
holding it over
Yeah,
your head.
Chris has been bugging me.
Okay, good. Yeah, it turned out good. Our setup and everything always has problems. It's kind of lo-fi on purpose by necessity. And there's always like, oh God, why did we do that? And it always
But
kind of
there was multiple cameras from what I remember.
yeah, we have people out there in the crowd. We have people a static camera, and then if the cameras are working, the sound will go bad. The sound will whatever. We invent our own problems, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're doing it again this year, and that's another thing we're trying to work through for Gonerfest. We just kill ourselves. And it's fun. It's fun to make this. It's fun to make stuff happen. And a lot of those tech TV guys kind of get that. They work hard. They expect to work hard. And
So this is the 20th year.
this is the 19th year, the 20th festival. 1 year early on, we got really excited and did 2 in 1 year.
Cool.
And then realized that probably wasn't a good idea. But yeah, the 20th festival, and it's kind of just the last couple of years, the momentum after COVID is really kicked in. People are really excited about this one. I don't know if it's really the lineup or the reputation or the timing or what, but
People know it's a good time.
for sure. And that's really what sells it. People want to come to Memphis. They want to come hang out with people that they know are fun to hang out with and see good music. Yeah. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that, and trying to make that happen. Are you working on any Celluloid Lunch, any other releases or magazine stuff?
I got to work on a magazine at some point, but I don't really have much to report about that. But I've got 2 records in the works.
Ooh.
Like that are at the pressing plant. One of them is American Devices, who have been a band since 1980 in Montreal.
Wow.
Yeah, they're great. Like Chris, who plays guitar in our band, did some time in the Devices as well. And last year we put out the Devices 7-inch, which was like something that never came out, but it was a kind of a precursor to the American Devices.
Right. I heard that.
Yeah. So they recorded 2 new songs, and they're awesome. So we're doing 45.
Nice.
And then the other thing that's also really exciting is this band Surveillance from Halifax that I have a feeling a lot of people have never heard of, but I also have a feeling it's gonna like blow people's minds. I don't know, like I've known the people for a while, and I always like admired everything they made, and I just feel like they stepped it up immensely, and it's just this incredible record.
Nice. Young kids, kind of new band, or
they're
been
my
around?
age, so
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah, they've been a band for like 10 years or so, I want to
Wow.
say, but they're just like they live kind of out there, and they don't get out of town very much to play, but they have like I think their reputation precedes them in the East Coast of Canada. But beyond that, they had some supporters and stuff. Like I know like Brian Turner used to play them on his show.
Yeah.
But they're pretty low key, just
Nice.
focused and honed in.
And do they have other releases, or is this their first thing?
Yeah, they put out Dave, one of the singers in the band, put out a 45, and they've put out some cassettes too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So that's later this year, early next year.
Yeah. Those will both be out before the end of the year.
Nice.
And this is kind of an exclusive, well, depending on when this airs, probably an exclusive
Whoa.
what do you call that? Like
An exclusive. I don't know.
yeah, an exclusive, yeah.
Here we go. Hot on the heels of the Slime record as well, which
Oh yeah, it was cool. I hung out with those guys the other week. I went to Newfoundland.
how was that?
Oh, it was great. They're just like extreme jokers, funny guys.
That's kind of the vibe. Not kind of. That is the vibe of
Yeah, yeah, I think that comes through.
it is. If you haven't heard the Slime, it is. Well, you could explain. Maybe it's a kind of legendary Canadian proto-punk-ish band from like 80, 79.
They put out their double LP, which is extremely sought after, in 1980, but they started in 77. And, they just got news of the Sex Pistols, and kind of, they were already all playing music, but more, I guess, inspired by like the Fugs and Captain Beefheart and stuff like that. And then just like decided to court the punk aesthetic in a very not self-serious way. So much so that they'd write like "bring your own safety pins" on their flyers and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. It's like kind of like hairy punk or something. Like these guys didn't bother to shave or cut their hair to be punk. Yeah. They like the anarchy and kind of wildness of it, and just kept going with what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like, they're very like it's basically avant-garde.
Yeah.
But just like unpretentious avant-garde.
Right. Yeah. It's just fun. Your record is so much fun to listen to, all the fake radio stuff and all the great bits that they're doing. And I don't know, it's just the attitude that just comes out of it is something that's really hard to do anymore, I think.
Yeah, totally. There's just like, there's a certain like self-awareness, but that's like playful, that now it's like hard to be like that because everything's so self-reflective with the internet and stuff. It's just like, it just sucks the juice out of these kind of ideas.
For sure. Yeah, the isolation and doing something and thinking you're the funniest band in the world as you're doing it to tape, and then going back to your job or whatever, and nothing ever comes of it, provided that kind of freedom, I think. And
they're really funny people. Like, I didn't meet all of them. 4 of us sat down for a couple beers, and it's a funny thing that, like, I guess I relate to, and I'm sure most people relate to, where it's like they don't stop talking about how it was all a joke,
right?
But then in the same breath, it's like clearly like very important to them,
right?
They take nothing seriously, but it's still this holy thing that has defined them,
Yeah,
it's cool. It's very charming, and
yeah. Was it hard to get them to put out the record? Or I think you told me that people had tried to put out stuff before and hadn't been able to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they had some reticence about, like, well, first of all, redoing the double LP, which I think is what most people are interested in.
Yeah.
And like myself included, like that was the first thought I had. But they had so much more material, and everything that's on the double LP is demos as much as everything else that was unreleased. Like, it's all like, they never went to a studio, they recorded it all at the community radio station there, for the most part, and then live shows. And it didn't take that much convincing, really, but it was more just like figuring out what was in everyone's best interest to do. And I think like that process might have deterred people in the past too. And they kind of told me, like, I'm not really sure why, but I think it was just timing and everything. They like told me that I was the one that got through for whatever reason. So
yeah,
they're really happy about the record. And they gave me a copy of the double LP too when I was out there.
That's awesome. Did you have one before?
Oh no, it's like a $2,000 record.
As it should be, of course.
Yeah.
Have you run into, I mean, reissuing things is tricky in a lot of ways, but you run into people sometimes that are happy that people are happy that you are into their music, but a lot of times they maybe are still expecting to make it off these recordings that they had done 30 years ago that 14 people really care about and love to listen to. Have you had any problems in the reissues that you've done trying to kind of get people's expectations to where they are in 2023 or whenever you're doing this stuff?
Not really. Like, everyone that I've worked with, it's been a funny thing where when we start talking about it, they have like zero expectations and they think I'm like pretty much insane for wanting to do it. They're
Right.
like, sure, you want to throw your money away on this thing that I don't even care about anymore? I guess go ahead. Like, you seem like you have pure intentions. And then like by the time it comes out, there's like maybe a little bit of reviews and stuff like that. And then they're like, there's a bit of a switch sometimes. Like that definitely happened with like Fernand LeBlanc from the Stonemen. Like there was a bit of a switch where it was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm like on national radio and all this stuff. And it wasn't like he expected anything, any financial gains from it, but I think it made him happy.
That's
Like
great.
I think he kind of reevaluated his own legacy and he was like, oh yeah, I am a rock star.
Right.
Which was cool.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah. So I mean, you just did a couple reissues, I guess, the Stoneman Devices and the Slime, and you got
Technically, the Stoneman's the only one that's like a reissue, but
oh,
yeah,
okay,
archival kind of things. Yeah.
archival, yeah. And you're doing two new things coming up, so you've kind of
Yeah.
got your foot in both camps. What's easier to sell for your stuff, do you
Oh,
think?
the archival stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of fly off the shelf.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is, stuff that has made its way to the top after 30 years or something. And, there's a reason why you're interested in putting it out. And maybe it's proved itself somehow. And new bands, everybody starts at the same spot.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I probably buy more archival records than I do new.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's kind of a funny thing because like, for instance, to Slime, like, you've heard the record. It's like, it's pretty left field.
Yeah.
I feel like the sales were also just driven by like the Canadiana factor and like the story and stuff like that. And I find myself thinking like, maybe if in certain instances, I'm like, is this like nerdy, like person gonna really like this music? Like, well, I guess
Right.
they gave me the money, so doesn't matter, but
That's on them now. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Why people buy things is, a whole nother question, but you
Yeah.
got it to them. You made it available and they decided they wanted to buy it. So that's fantastic, especially something so lo-fi and, on the surface, antisocial as that.
Yeah, and it's amazing they were on like national radio interviewed and stuff. Like that's pretty fucking funny.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah.
But made like, it. If they were a new band, obviously that never would have happened.
Right. Well, I don't know. If you look like the Slime in 1977 and came out now and put out something, you can maybe do something with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be on like the CBC, our version of NPR or whatever, which is what they were on.
Tiny desk concert thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what came first? I'm assuming you did the magazine first and maybe started putting records out with the magazine. Is that how everything worked?
I did like a couple of times before I had self-released like 7 inches.
Yeah.
And then but like just fake label. And then like I had kind of like a fake label with some friends where we would just kind of self-finance cassette releases, but like just all under the same umbrella kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I did the zine. The zine came about because I was talking to Eddie Flowers and my friend Rick, who's in the American Devices in town here. And I just like ended up interviewing both of them. And so I did like just like a typewritten first issue. And then I guess Protruders, my old band, went on tour and we met all sorts of cool people and stuff. And I just got really inspired.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, like it would be cool to turn this into like a bit of a more like have contributors and stuff. And so the third issue was like a bit more substantial. And then I was working at record distribution companies, a couple different ones. So I got the bright idea to try and release some records more like semi-seriously, or, like I like put my money in and to see if I could get it back and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at now. Still doing that, still riding out that initial investment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked a little bit about fanzines and the place kind of what's special about them, but what made you want to do a fanzine besides just having access to the people and everything? What makes fanzine special to you, and makes you want to keep doing it?
Well, yeah, like I think we said last time, which I feel like was probably one of the smarter things I said, just like having a space of curiosity outside of the internet that, just like that separation of like your fucking taxes and like whatever, answering emails, and like the thing that you love and like just want to spend time with, so it's just a good place to, like, I don't want to read about music online if I don't have to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess like I grew up like really into drawing and stuff. My brother is a visual artist, my older brother.
Yeah.
And he used to draw like cool skulls for me and my friends and stuff. And then like we had all these like my uncle's Mad magazines lying around and stuff. So I was making zines that weren't fanzines, but my area of interest was like rock music and whatever left field music. But I was making zines that were just purely aesthetic because I didn't feel like I had chops to write or something or do anything like that. And then it was just like, oh, now I've kind of read a lot of music stuff, and I still don't feel confident about that side of things. But if I bring other people in, maybe it'll be a way to like give the aesthetic stuff more meaning and like bring it all together.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. No, what you said about having like a space, like just holding the magazine. I mean, you don't think about it when they're all around you, but it's sort of, they're so rare now. It's so personal, whatever that person, the editor, I mean, the level zines you start out with, it's one person, it's really their view on the world. And on the internet, it's never just that, it's always kind of some
corrupted
thing. Yeah. There's something in between. There's a camera or something between you and the person, and the physical magazine just feels so much more like you said, you're inside this space. It gives you just a little space, even if it's bad, but there's just different magazines just feel so different, especially when they're crude and amateur,
And there's also like a less self-conscious thing, right? Like, because I guess there's more intentionality in how it's distributed or something. Whereas online, like I think it makes for better interviews. I don't know. I don't have proof of that, but people just like are like, yeah, this is like some dumb print thing and we're just gonna joke around and stuff. But then, like it's normal. I mean, I get nervous, like thinking, oh, this is gonna be on the internet. I better not say anything too dumb.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, yeah, well, you started with Eddie Flowers, who's just kind of a fanzine god. If there's one thing on Facebook that feels like you're reading a fanzine, it's Eddie Flowers just ranting about last night's show.
Yeah. I don't have Facebook, but yeah, I know he's just prolific, like in his opinions, in his music taste, and everything.
Yeah. And the Gizmos, I mean, that whole group is just really inspirational. That was another band that we were lucky enough to get to Gonerfest, and they had Craig Bell playing with them. And
I met Craig out there in Bloomington as well.
Yeah, it's just so inspirational. They totally carved their own little niche of music that was half jokey, half, I don't know what it was, but it was their own thing.
Pure of heart.
Yes, they're very pure of heart. They finished their set and they said, "Man, that was great. Oh, we'll see you next year." I was like, I don't know if we can do this every year. I'd love to, but let's talk about getting you back here sometime, But yeah, I was thinking about your stuff, your music, and it just seems, I don't know if intentionally or you just kind of gravitated, but it seems like that noisy proto-punk, no wavy, Richard Hell and the Voidoids kind of early stuff kind of struck a chord or something. A lot of that kind of freedom before all the roles of punk were too defined.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just like, I'm sick of trying to, like, I don't think it's necessary to talk about the definition of punk or anything, but I guess if if that conversation comes up, I definitely like appreciate, no matter how corny it gets, the kind of Mike Watt style of like, we thought like John Coltrane was punk or whatever. It's just like, for me, I just like, yeah, certain freedom in music, and as I'm sure you do too. Like
Yeah, the thing that I liked about anything, you can draw or write or whatever, you can do whatever you want, and people just all of a sudden they just want to make rules and walls and everything, and it just drives me crazy. And it's not the point. You could do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Well, do you try to stay away from doing stuff on the internet because of that? Do you stick to releases and magazines and all that if you can?
I mean, I used to, but I kind of gave up.
Yeah.
I've got Instagram now, and whatever. I mean, I use it to communicate with people, basically, mostly the internet. And
Yeah.
I read online and stuff too. But I don't know. I find more joy in like bringing it into the physical realm, or like, like I'll like check stuff out online, but I'll buy a record if I'm interested.
I think that's our demographic or our niche or whatever niche that a lot of people don't understand. You want to have it you'll play it more if it's in your house than if it's just online.
Yeah, I also do CDs a lot because I got an old car, and so that's great. I'm actually kind of getting into CDs again because, like, for whatever reason. I mean, they're just so cheap, and like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool stuff that people don't give a shit about. So
Right.
great.
That's always where the good stuff is. So
Yeah.
Always.
I'm sure the generation after my generation is going to be like collecting CDs and like selling them for thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
has
my dog's going ballistic. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's fine. So what makes you optimistic about the future, if anything? Is there what gets you out of bed to try these new projects?
I mean, I'm like a kid. Like, I'm just excited about stuff, and I'm excited about hearing new stuff and seeing new bands. And there's like a bunch of new bands in town here all the time. And I don't know, everyone around me inspires me. I'm also like jaded as fuck old man, even though I'm also a little kid full of wonder.
Sure. Do you see young bands coming up that you go, oh, they get it, this is cool?
Yeah, and I see a lot of people who I know get it trying like new bands all the time. That happens a lot here, like where three people that have all played in different bands, or like these kind of like rigid hardcore bands or something that I didn't really like, but I like the people, and then they like try this new thing and it's totally different, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, it's just cool. People are into trying different things.
Are the scenes really defined up there? Like the hardcore scene, the hardcore people don't. I mean, obviously you have friends with these people, but is it more defined because it's a big fancy city?
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit, I guess, but not overly. I mean, hardcore is like a tough example because like,
yeah,
there's so many different like schools of thought within it, but like there's definitely some real dorky people who only listen to hardcore, and I'm sure there's that here. I don't know. Like I can't think of anyone offhand, but
that's good. Yeah. So I don't know. I've never been to Montreal. The scene.
Oh, you got to come, man.
Yeah, I know. I always wanted to go. None of my
Oblivion's never played here?
No, we made it to Toronto and Calgary and Vancouver.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Never. Well, it's too late for the Oblivions. My new project, which I haven't started. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got to start it out.
Here we go. Well, True Sons of Thunder will cross the border.
Yeah.
We can't get into Arkansas, so I don't know how we're going to get into Canada. But
why can't you get into Arkansas?
We've had some mishaps on the road that lead to various band members not really wanting to travel with other band members and that kind of thing.
Right.
But maybe we'll get over it someday and get up there. We'll see. I'd love to see it myself, just to come visit.
It's a cool city, Montreal. I mean, I guess I'm biased and I'm not too into like civic pride or whatever, but I think it's kind of a neat city.
Seems like always there's strong arts scene going on.
Strong art scene, and like like it has been cheap to live. That's changing, but it's also like a kind of nasty city. Like a lot of like American like 18-year-olds come down here to do nasty stuff.
Okay.
But it's nasty in a way where it's, I don't know, it's just like a permissive cool place. So you do what you will with that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get there someday. Someday I will get to Montreal and walk the streets of Montreal and see what the retail simps were talking about in all these songs. I have no idea.
Rich is coming actually for our release show. Yeah. I'm excited.
So yeah, I think Total Punk is just a great label for the retail simps. I don't know if we talked about the first promo release or whatever for the first record, using the old African Prince ransom note type of bamboozle thing.
I have a good idea for the new one. I haven't put it together yet, but those scam emails where it's like, we've seen you watching pornography and we're gonna release the videos. Yeah, I want to riff off that somehow. So
good. Yeah, it's like, click here. Like, I'm not ever clicking on that thing.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That's all I got. Anything else you want to talk about?
What's coming out on Goner that you can talk about?
Oh man, what isn't coming out on Goner? We got a Coffin record that's raging. We've got a Split System, another Australian band that's coming out. We've got we've got a Bennett single, which is this guy Bennett Foster, who sang
he played last year, right?
Yeah, that was
he played the same day.
Well, he did his second performance. Really good, kind of, not afraid to be very suave pop stuff. And oh god, we have so many things. We're doing the King Louis record that came out, Harahan Fats, where he recorded it, and it's coming out after he's died. He has like 5 records, a techno record, all kinds of stuff that he had in the pipeline that we're trying to find a way to release, maybe just digitally. This one's coming out as a record and double cassette because he had so many songs. Lots of stuff. And yeah, it's with the festival and everything, it's really hectic right now as we barrel into Gonerfest 20.
Yeah, do you kind of carve out like a label break around the festival, or?
That would be smart, but I was talking to Zach and he said, yeah, we've got a single coming out the Tuesday after Gonerfest. We got to get the website up for us. I usually sleep for a week. Let's yeah. We've been collaborating with the guys, a couple co-releases with Drunken Sailor, and
I've done stuff with him before.
Yeah, and the Split System, Aaron does Legless Records, and those guys are full on top of it, and they are really keeping us on a timeline that sometimes we're not so good at keeping. So it's been good.
That sounds like a good thing. You guys keep it laid back, they keep it moving forward.
Yeah, it's good.
When I did release with Julian for the Strange Attractor thing, and I never met him in person, but like it was so easy. It was kind of just like, yeah, so this is what I was thinking. Okay, cool, that sounds good to me. Like every step of the way, that was basically how it went. So
right, yeah. Now it's we have everything kind of mapped out for the next 6 months, which is not very much like us, but we still go through that schedule, careening from one thing like, oh my god, we got to do this. So
Well, right now I have the American Devices 45s like in my office, just white labels. No, like, and we don't have any like concept ready for the art or anything. So it's
Right.
just it's kind of stressing me out, to be honest. But so
Yeah.
I feel your normal strategy.
Right. I'm spacing on some stuff that's really going to bug me, and I can't think of right now. Let me see if I have. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Bennett thing. Oh, Dipper's coming out in the middle of that. We added Alien Nose Job. We can't stay away from Australian bands.
I really like that guy's. I like, obviously they're all so different, so I don't like them all the same.
Right.
But I really like his ability to just do whatever. And I don't know, he cheers me up, that guy.
Yeah. Jake's fantastic. We're doing another Expats record, Bloodshot Bill.
I like that Expats.
Yeah. That Tucson kind of thing is kind of based around Matt Rendon recording the stuff.
It's like a father-daughter duo or something.
Yeah, that band is father-daughter. She plays drums and sings. He plays guitar, and they both write songs. They're both elementary school.
Some great like 60s chops. Like,
yeah, it's tough to do that stuff without being cheesy sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun. We kind of fell in love with it after they kind of approached us, and yeah, it's really good stuff. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Yeah. And
you guys sorry, this is kind of like, maybe doesn't have to be part of the interview, it might be boring, but do you find it's hard to sell 45s?
yes.
Yeah, because they're like expensive to make now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I love 45s. I love a perfect 45, and but yeah, they're expensive. Less and less stores carry them. And it's, I guess, it used to be you had to buy it to hear the song or hear the band, and that kind of use is kind of all on the internet now. So it's hard to, and
I don't want to give up on them though, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like records. It's a really cool thing, and when you get a perfect 45, it's just cool, and even like vintage or older releases that we still stock, the Mudhoney Touch Me I'm Sick. It's like, what's better than that? It's just a perfect little blast of whatever is going on at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like an economical format where like you don't have room to stretch out, so you better fucking
yeah. So it's cool that you can still make them. It's really hard to stock. It's really hard to sell, but that's kind of.
I did a few of those flexies with the Zine that were like Pirates Press.
Yeah,
that's pretty cheap to do still, and kind of cool, and they're pretty good quality.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
it's fine.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Okay. Hello. I'm sorry.
There's a couple people drinking beers out front here.
Nice. Yeah, there's a couple kids running around in their bathing suits, heading to a friend's pool. So
Nice.
I'll let you go. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you.
I love the stuff that you're doing, and I was basically just curious and wanted to hear some of your thoughts on stuff going on. So I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. It's an honor to talk, and it's a fun hang, even though it's on Zoom.
Yeah, and I recorded this time, so we'll actually be able to prove that we had this talk.
Yeah. I want to get back to Memphis someday too. You'll be here. I'm gonna pull in Eddie Flowers and ask you to come back every year.
Yeah, no, come back. If the Retail SImps can't do it, just come and visit, and we'll put you up and show you around. Be great.
All right, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Goner Records podcast. We're looking to get these out more regularly. Stay tuned. We appreciate you checking this out, and other Goner projects might not necessarily be directly money-making things for the label, shop, store, but we hope you find them interesting, educational, somewhat entertaining. You can support us by shopping at Goner, by buying Goner releases and merchandise, and through our Patreon. Check that out at patreon.com/Goner Records. Thanks again for listening. See you soon.